The Smithsonian Faculty Fellowship program represents a rewarding academic professional development opportunity for faculty at Montgomery College. The fellowships are a product of a unique collaboration between Montgomery College and the Smithsonian Center for Learning and Digital Access. It's the first of its kind between the Smithsonian Institution and a community college.
Mercia Rindler is a full-time faculty member in the English and Reading Department in Rockville. She teaches composition and literature and occasionally tutors in the Writing, Reading, and Learning Center. Professor Rindler was born in Johannesburg, South Africa, and lived in Israel for 5 years. She received her Bachelor of Arts in English Literature from Tel Aviv University and her Master's degree in Public Communication from American University. Before coming to MC, she worked for educational television in Israel, Channel 5 in Washington, D.C., and Montgomery County Public Schools. Her proudest accomplishments are her 3 sons and 13 marathons.
I would like to thank Sarah Ducey, Denise Dewhurst, and Mimi Mann for the opportunity to be a Smithsonian Fellow this past semester. I'd also like to thank my 2020 cohort for all their patience and encouragement. So I arrived at the title of my Smithsonian Fellowship project after looking at student reflections that they wrote at the end of last semester. Meeting the challenge, a look into deep time and a step toward living a sustainable lifestyle. After reading through the reflections and noticing that most students pointed out that they were now far more conscious of their global footprints, and they were really more interested right now to pay attention to the lifestyles they were leading and to try and lead a more sustainable lifestyle. I integrated the Smithsonian Fellowship project into my ENGL 102 Critical Reading, Writing, and Research course. And the course is very heavy in research. It's rigorous in terms of all the reading requirements, the writing, and so on. And while the fellowship didn't completely make the course any easier, it certainly made it a lot more fun and more engaging for my students. So, as you've heard from my cohorts, we started the semester online, and faced with very little choice to be virtual or not to be, I went ahead and worked with changing lesson plans and ruminating about assignments and so on. But I stayed mostly true to my goals. I was hoping to instill interest in the Smithsonian Institution, to help create awareness of all its phenomenal resources, and to instill some level of comfort with students so that they could be comfortable exploring these resources and using them in their writing and their assignments that semester. Lastly, I was hoping to try and foster some sort of collaborative community to simulate in a way the experience that students may have had we been able to go downtown as a class, as a group. The semester-long assignments focused on deep time. Specifically, our exploratory essay, the group assignment, and the final research assignment. And the first half of the semester focused on readings and discussions on climate change, on global warming, on sustainability, and on the Deep Time exhibit. Students were tasked with taking a virtual tour of the Deep Time exhibit, exploring the various themes and various displays, and looking for issues that they may be inspired by and be interested in using as an issue topic for the rest of the semester. Students were also encouraged to record themselves taking the virtual tour at the point where they found inspiration. And this was really very helpful because once students had done that, we shared in class, and it sort of created that collaborative community I was hoping for by having students share what they were inspired by, specifically during their virtual tour. I have a couple examples here for you that I can share.
Recently, I got to tour the Deep Times exhibit at the Smithsonian Natural History Museum. And during that tour, I was truly and utterly fascinated with the Age of Humans gallery, as you can see here. I noticed in the gallery, it mentions how humans are leaving a permanent mark in Earth's geological record, which is changing the planet we live on faster than any other species. This exhibit that goes on by showing us a display that proves no one else but humans are causing this rapid change, as you can see in the back. This gallery then made me think about plastic pollution and how humans have been rapidly producing more and more plastic each year, which is slowly causing a permanent damage to our environment. This led me to think, what other issues plastic has, not just on our environment, but to humans as well? And how will plastic pollution affect our future if we keep going like this? And explore the greater effects and how important it is that we can reduce plastic in our everyday life.
So that really initiated some very helpful discussion during class time. It allowed us to get away from text-based learning and did, to some extent, create that collaborative community. The second part of the semester allowed for further museum engagement with a group assignment to create museum labels. And I had two major objectives for this particular assignment. One was to really help students understand the concept of audience, that they're writing for a specific audience, and they need to be aware of who the audience is, what an audience's background is, and so on. So the second objective was to give students another opportunity for collaborative learning. They were to work in groups, in a way, again, to try and simulate that experience that they were missing out on since we were online and isolated from each other. Our preparation for the assignment started with a presentation by Sarah Iko, who was the curatorial coordinator for the International Center for Photography in New York. And she shared with us her expertise in creating an exhibit and how museum labels are put together. She helped us understand the difference between a tombstone a label and an interpretive label. And inspired by this, and with her help, we dissected a lot of museum labels. We looked at a lot of artwork and objects, and at this point, students were sent out to, work in their groups to look for some artwork or a particular painting, using any of the Smithsonian museums, any of the museums that they were interested in or had not ever visited before, and they were tasked with finding something that suited the Smithsonian theme we were working on. Using their chosen work, when students came back, we practiced the See, Think, Wonder game that they had learned from Philippa Rappaport, our Smithsonian educator. And this allowed for further and deeper research of their particular object or artwork. I have a couple examples here that I can show you. So this is from the National Portrait Gallery, and the art is called Torching the Amazon by Robert G. Giusti. And the particular audience that students were working towards, the audience they had in mind was for middle school to high school students. Blazing trees, traumatized animals, and in a quick moment, everything destroyed. Robert G. Giusti created this artwork to symbolize the ongoing death of the Amazon rainforest. Giusti purposely includes a flaming skull, which represents the demise of the largest rainforest in the world. In this painting, The artist depicts the many different types of animals fleeing from the fire and ultimately their natural habitat. The Amazon rainforest is home to millions of species and seems to be diminishing every year. Students were also tasked with writing a reflection to explain their rationale for their particular label. This is a reflection from the creators, Philip, Joel, and Claudia. Our mission was to bring attention to the ongoing troubles inside the rainforest. Millions of animals are suffering and losing their habitats. Through this label, we try to help younger readers understand the severity of the situation. This is a topic the three of us are passionate about and hope to raise awareness. I have one more example. This one is from the Smithsonian Natural Museum of African Art by the artist El Anatsui, created in 2009, and this is untitled. The label is red, blue, gold, shiny, rough, smooth, made from history. What is my purpose? And their reflection, the Nigerian artist uses discarded materials such as old plastic bottle tops, discarded copper, and scraps of aluminum to create his art. We think he creates sustainable art by using commonplace materials to show how we are all connected and all responsible for the health of our planet. And towards the end of the semester concluded with a much anticipated, and I also think much dreaded, long research essay. And these long and many thoughtful essays demonstrated students' growing consciousness of the role they do play, in sustaining a healthy planet. Some of the topics that they came up with, which were inspired by their original virtual tour of the Deep Time exhibit, were capitalism, consumerism, deforestation, fast fashion, food deserts, food waste, green building, renewable energy. And their concern with these such issues reflected their sort of growing engagement with the Deep Time exhibit and with their concern for the environment. Reflecting back on the semester, students in this ENGL 2020-102 course agreed that the Smithsonian Institute, with its 19 museums, is an invaluable and easily accessible resource, and one that they eagerly look forward to exploring further in their own time and on their own initiative. And with special thanks to Philippa Rappaport, our Smithsonian educator, for her support and guidance through the fellowship, to Scott Wing, Christopher Williams, Joanna Mars, and Elizabeth Dale Dines for their wonderful presentations that certainly enriched my experience, and I was able to share with my students. So thank you very much, and I truly appreciate the opportunity.